Hey, buddy, watch this.
All right, guys, let's do this. Let's talk about the Rumble Run Shrine. So the Rumble Run comes out on Thursday. It's a single player mode for Rastakhan's Rumble. So if you don't know, the way the Rumble Run works is, guys, you're gonna pick a shrine at the start of your run. Nick the Great, thank you for the 90 bits, man. Appreciate that. Hey, Callum. You're gonna pick a shrine at the start of your run. That's just gonna spawn automatically for you when you go into a Rumble Run game. And when it dies, it'll go dormant, so it'll stay on the board, but it won't be active. Its effect won't be active. And then after 3 turns, it'll reactivate itself, so you get your shrine again. So essentially, they're kind of like passive benefits. They're not totally passive because you have to keep them alive if you want to utilize them. But theoretically, they're passive benefits that make your deck better or support your deck. So you got to pick treasures and card offerings that kind of match up with your shrine. So your shrine choice will heavily influence how you play the game. I guess that was 99 bits, Nick the Great. I thought that was 90. I can't read. So up first is the Druid Shrine. And for this one, each class has 3. For the Druid Shrine, we have Gonk's Armament, 0/5. They're all going to be 0 mana because you don't have to play them. They just get played automatically, so their mana cost is irrelevant. For Gonk's Armament, it reads, whenever you gain armor, refresh your mana crystals. And I think that just sounds totally insane. I don't know about you guys, but essentially free mana refresh every time you gain armor. Remember that your hero power gains you armor. That's crazy. So for 2 mana, you just get like a infinite mana pool. That to me seems completely bonkers. I don't know how there's any choice better than this. Just hero powering means, as a druid, you get, so like if you're on 10 mana and you spend 8 mana and then you hero power, you get 10 mana again, which is insane. Then if you spend 7 mana and you cast Ferocious Howl, you get 10 mana again. Now, I will say one difference is that it probably takes you to get to the late game for this to really make sense, because, on turn 2, it's maybe not bad necessarily, but not as good. It's much better in the late game. Hello, McKean. Hello, HB Joe. And hello again, Cardcaster. Hope you guys are doing well. Reviewing the shrines here. So Gonk's Armament to me looks nuts. I feel like there's a lot of ways to gain armor. You can see some in the deck here. Even cool things like Hero Power or Water Boy basically mean you kind of get a 2/1, and then you also get a free hero power, which means you also get more mana. So you kind of get this crazy influx of stuff all at once. You've got armor cards like Halftime Scavenger. So to me, this one just seems like the obvious heavy favorite. This looks nuts. I got that Bat Legendary. Is there anything I can do with it? There are some buff zoo decks out there, but I don't know if they're really great yet. I just hang out and see you in a week or two. Maybe you can dust it. Maybe not. Hey, Mercer. Hey, Rack Toner. So moving on, we have Gonk's Mark, another shrine. This one's only a 0/3, so note that it is much harder to keep alive. But if you have an early start with it, you can get some big stats out and maybe smork. But I'm afraid in a dungeon run, or excuse me, a rumble run, with some of the cheating stuff that the bosses can do in a rumble run, I'm a little worried. I'm a little bit worried that your boards are going to get cleared even if you buff them a little bit, right? Like clearly there's a style of play here with the cards you get from the Gonk's Mark package that are supposed to get you off to really fast starts, but I don't think those are going to go far enough in a rumble run. I feel like it's going to peter out. It also just dies really easily. So the long-term value here, I don't think supports this one being all that strong. Hey, Runny said, armor seems like you always hit the button regardless of your plays. Yeah, exactly, because you're just getting so much extra mana. That's kind of crazy. And then finally, the biggest one, the 0/7 Bonds of Balance. At the end of your turn, gain attack equal to your hero's attack. So this is kind of a minion that I guess snowballs into this really big threat if your hero's gaining attack, and you're clearly going to get some, supporting attack stuff for that, Savage Combatant and Pounce and all this stuff. But ultimately, I think that's too weak to single target removal. Like as soon as this dies, it sucks. You're committing your resources pretty heavily into this one thing. Whereas with Gonk's Armament, you're actually spreading your resources around. Gonk's Mark, you're spreading your resources around, but I don't think they go far enough. So for me, Gonk's Armament is like a 5-star option. Gonk's Mark feels like, I don't know, a 2-star option, and Bonds of Balance seems like maybe a 2-star option as well. So Gonk's Armament just seems vastly stronger than the rest as far as I'm concerned. Now, maybe there's going to be things that change that in the actual gameplay experience, but I just can't imagine how. So that said, hello Elemental Power. Let's move on to the Hunter Shrines. And again, guys, just in case you don't know what we're doing, we're talking about the shrines for the upcoming Rumble Run. And I have a feeling this will not be something everybody wants to watch, but that's okay. I don't need everybody to be here. We'll play more games later if you're wanting to play games, but for now I want to talk through these because I haven't really seen them yet. And I think it's really cool. I think the designs are awesome. And the artwork and stuff's really nice too. Dedicated artwork's always good. Mecha Sushi, thanks for the 100 bits, man. That's amazing. Appreciate that. Did my Okay, that did go live. All right. So up next we have the Hunter Shrines here for the Rumble Run, and we have Halazi's Trap, a 0 mana 0/8, and I haven't even seen these before. After you cast a spell, put a random Hunter secret into the battlefield. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, well, clearly you got a lot of spells to support that. Hey, Jehovah! Thanks for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome, welcome, man. That's incredible. That's a great thing to see. I know that's a welcome back at some level, so thank you. But yeah, getting a free secret in play every time you cast a spell, that's pretty sneaky good. I like that quite a bit. Halazi's Hunt, a 0/5 shrine. Your minions have overkill. Cards in your hand cost 1 less? What? So it's like this constant Emperor Thaurissan discount? That could be really good with some of the like active treasure cards. Man. The challenge, of course, will be playing from ahead so that you're able to activate Overkill. Like, that's a really high outcome if it works, but I'm scared it's not always going to work. So, consistency issues there. Like, this one's going to be more likely to stay alive and more likely to work. And then finally, Halazi's Guise. Whenever you summon a beast, it gains Rush, Taunt, or Poisonous. So it's random. I don't like that. If it was always Poisonous and Rush or something, it'd be nuts. But I wonder if this one's just too unpredictable. That doesn't seem worth it to me. So I would say Halazi's Trap is like a 4-star shrine. Halazi's Hunt, it's like if it works, it's 5 stars. But I think the consistency means this is probably a 3-star. Yeah, if it said and, Halazi's Guys would be 5 stars. But it says or. So I think this is actually like a 1-star shrine. I don't think this one's going to be good at all. Because sometimes Taunt is just going to be useless. Poisonous will often still create friction problems. Rush will occasionally be handy, but still not getting what you want on demand is tough. If you got to choose, it'd be great, but the fact that it's random. So I think Halazi's Trap is the consistent, strong choice here, and Halazi's Hunt is acceptable if your deck is designed in the right way to support it, which you will be able to choose cards to support it, of course. Moving on to the Mage Shrines. We have Janelized Mantle, a 0/5, has +1 spell damage for each spell in your hand. Intriguing. So that kind of gets worse over time if you think about it. Like, as you play spells, it gets weaker and weaker. But some early spells could absolutely demolish with this. Interestingly, though, you don't get very many minions in the initial deck for Janelized Mantle. You mostly get mostly minions, not spells. So it's not going to be that strong early. And it's not going to be that strong late maybe either, because you run out of... you might run out of stuff. So I don't know. Janelized Mantle, intriguing, but I think it's going to have this sort of depreciating value, right? Like, it's going to lose its value over time, which is maybe not as good. You could maybe play for 1 or 2 really big swings, but I don't think I trust it very much. So let's move on to Janelized Flame, which looks insanely cool, by the way. That's an awesome looking card. It's a 0/8, which is nice because it's much harder to kill. Your hero power costs 0. Whenever it kills a minion, refresh it. So this really cool board clear tool that'd be great with things like Daring Fire Eater, which is not in the not in here, but Fallen Hero is in here. But you can still get it. Ultimately, I don't know if that goes far enough, but because I don't know that, you want to just be pinging minions off all the time. Just getting an extra ping here and there may not really go that far. This one seems like it doesn't have enough oomph to it. I feel like it could be way better. And then finally, Janelized Progeny. Whenever you freeze a character, put a Frost Fire into your hand. What on earth is a Frost Fire? I don't know what a Frost Fire is. Do you guys know? Frost Fire is 0 mana, deal 1 damage. Oh, okay. So what was it again? Let's see. Whenever you freeze a character, put a Frost Fire into your hand. I don't know. I think freezing is going to be too tough. Like, clearly the deck here is built to support the freeze synergies, but 0 mana deal 1, like, that could be cool with some spell damage and stuff, but ultimately, I don't know. I don't think that goes far enough. Where do you find the list? This is on Hearthstone. All the shrines are listed on Hearthstone. There's an article here called Rastakhan's Rumble Run, All Shrines and Starting Decks. So you can see what you're going to get into here when you pick each of these. What's the deck for Halazi's Guys? You didn't show it. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let's. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Here you go. It has a lot of minions, but still, ultimately, I don't think they. It is summon a minion or summon a beast, which is nice. It's not play a beast, but it is beast as well. So it's kind of good and bad in some ways. But ultimately, still, it doesn't change. Doesn't change anything. Check out the Flame Shrine and let's check it out. Golden. Do they have it in gold? They don't have it animated. They just have the golden frame. But anyway, let's rate these. I think Channelized Mantle is like 3 stars. I think Channelized Flame is 2 stars. I think Channelized Progeny is probably 1 star. It seems just way too hard to make it work. So we'll move on to and say hello to everybody that haven't said hello to yet. Hey Pig says moo. Hey Hellblaze. Hey Where's Beef? Julian Bailey M. Punk 38. This is indeed Rumble Run stuff. I need to put that in the title. Reviewing Rumble Run cards. There we go. That title is more accurate.
New computer forgot my Twitch sign in. Then today it came to me. Good to see you again.
Jehovah, thank you, dude, for the 250 bits of the earlier sub. Crazy stuff, man. Appreciate that. I'm glad you sorted it out. Glad to have you back. Hey, Firebat, how's it going? What are Rumble Run cards? Rumble Run is the new single player mode that's going to be hitting Hearthstone in a couple days on Thursday, the 13th. So much like Dungeon Run or Monster Hunt, the Rumble Run is the new single player stuff. Hey, Ananda Raven. How's it going? So Paladin Shrines. Okay. We got Shirvala's Protection, a 0/4 shrine. After a friendly minion survives damage, give it Divine Shield. Huh. That makes your boards really sticky. I like that. As long as you're able to trade in safely, though, which means you kind of need to be ahead. Well, you don't have to technically be ahead. But here's the thing, right? If your opponent has initiative and they're attacking minions, they're just going to kill your shrine first. I say opponent, I mean the NPC. I'm assuming the AI is smart enough to destroy a shrine as opposed to another minion. Taunt minions, of course, could deny that and protect the shrine. But theoretically, the AI would be smart enough to kill the shrine first. So I don't know that it would really help being defensive with it, but if you're on the proactive end and you have initiative and you're attacking first, this could get quite a bit of value return, just making your stuff really, really hard to deal with. So that's intriguing, and you can see the deck for it does have high health minions and stuff, and even minions that damage themselves, like the Cavaldier here. So that's pretty cool because it's gonna damage itself and instantly gain a Divine Shield. So it's a 2/1 Divine Shield for 1 mana. Which is, it's interesting. So, I like that, okay. Shirvala's Vengeance is a 5 health shrine. After your hero takes damage, deal 5 damage to the enemy hero. Huh. And of course, cards like Mad Bomber and Matter Bomber and Crystallizer. Wow. So a combination of like self-damage and healing to keep you alive while killing the enemy hero. That's kind of cool. I sort of like that. I feel like there are ways to make that really good if you get the supporting cards. The question is, as you get into the Rumble Run, how much health are the bosses going to have? I feel like they could have a lot of health. So you may not really be able to chip through it all. If they've got like 80 health or whatever, 5 damage per time is not going to matter. But even like one Mad Bomber that hits your face 3 times, that deals 15 damage to the enemy hero. So that does stack up pretty high. That's intriguing. And then finally, Shirvala's Grace, 5 health. After you cast a spell on a friendly minion, cast a copy of it on this one. Oh my gosh, that's a dream for a buff paladin. And I think more intriguing of all is that helps you keep your shrine alive. I like that. That's kind of cool. And clearly the deck here is meant to support it. And the hero power will support it as well, because you always have minions around. So yeah, I like that a lot. That seems pretty strong. So I would say maybe 3 stars, 3 stars, and 4 stars. 3 for protection, 3 for vengeance, and 4 for grace. They all actually seem kind of playable. I sort of like these. Can shrines be silenced? Presumably, yeah, they can be silenced. They can certainly be destroyed, but they respawn after 3 turns. So actually silencing would be better than destroying them in most cases. It doesn't actually say anything about silencing in the rules. So I think they should be able to be silenced. It doesn't say they can't. So my presumption is they can. Oh man, the artwork for the priest ones looks insane. This artwork is so good. Wow. Look at the artwork on the Covenant in particular. That's incredible. So now we're on the priest shrines. Are there any rewards when you complete the run? You get a card back after you do something. I don't know. I guess you complete every class maybe. You get a card back. Cheval's Grace works on a spell on itself. It is a friendly minion, so is it a shrine or a minion? I don't know. That's unclear. So if you cast Blessing of Kings on this, would it go to 4/9 or would it go to 8/13? I'm gonna assume it's other friendly minion, but you might have to test it. You might have to test that. I think maybe this isn't considered a minion. Maybe it's considered a shrine. All right, so Priest Shrine's up next. Bwonsamdi's Sanctum. 3 mana, or 3 health, I mean. Your death rattles trigger 2 additional times. Wow. You can just draw all the cards right off the bat. You get 3 death rattle activations every time. That seems pretty insane. The health is very low, so it may die easily, but I feel like the value return is going to be pretty quick on that. Man, that's cool. Both early and late game. You can get big scary minions out of it, big death rattle effects, and just early game tempo too. So I like that quite a bit. Bwonsamdi's Tome, after you cast a spell, add a random priest spell to your hand. So it's Lyra. It's just absolutely Lyra. And we have seen Lyra be a good card, so I don't see why this wouldn't be a good card either, particularly with Power Word Shields in there. Some spare part action. Yeah, I like that. I don't know if Lyra's good enough to like carry a Rumble run, but it does seem strong. And then Bwonsamdi's Covenant, healing enemies damages them instead. And of course, you're going to have a lot of health gain stuff. So it's basically an Auchenai Soul Priest, but 8 health and always kind of hanging around. I like this because what it means is like Circle of Healing still heals your stuff, but it also still damages your enemies. It's not universal. So it's not like you destroy your own board, right? You'd only be destroying your opponent's stuff. So it is quite swingy. It's much better than things like Auchenai Soul Priest. So yeah, that seems good. I do think probably your deck is going to be a restriction there. It's going to be hard to build a deck that really supports this one. It's going to feel like you might have some awkward turns here and there. But just, I don't know, cards like a card like Earthen Ring Farseer is suddenly really powerful, right? It's kind of insane. But maybe not insane enough to keep a Rumble run going. So I think this is a 4-star card. I think this is a 3-star card, and I think this is a 3-star card. So I think Sanctum's probably going to be your best bet.
Welcome, boys.
Hey, Dream Eater! Thank you for the 15-month resub. My God, dude. That is insane. That's really crazy. Welcome back. That's amazing. Love you, dude. 15 months is unreal. So now onto the Rogue Shrines. With Bottled Terror, only 2 health. But it reads, your other minions have stealth and death rattle. Give your minions +2 attack. So really smorky aggro style. I don't know if this one's going to pay off enough. It's like going to pay off once in the early game, and then late game it's going to be totally dead. Then you have the Treasure from Below. At the start of your turn, steal a card from your opponent's deck. It costs 2 less. So each turn you get a discounted thing, but it's from your opponent's deck, which in a Rumble run with boss enemies might be pretty cool, actually. I think that could be rather strong because you're going to get boss cards sometimes. And they're going to be discounted. And you're going to steal it too, which implies not copying it, which means you might break some of the stuff they're supposed to do. So I think that seems really, really good. And then finally, Pirate's Mark. After you it also does only have 2 health though, I guess. So it is going to die very easily. That's one major downside. I think the effect is amazing, but the health is incredibly low. Anyway, Pirate's Mark. After you cast a spell, cast it again on the same target. We forgot to look at the list for Treasure from Below. It's probably just kind of a generic looking list that is. Bottled Terror, of course, had really fast starts, and Pirate's Mark has a lot of cheap spells. I mean, certainly things like Counterfeit Coin are great being double casted. Espionage, kind of if you have the card draw to support it, but a lot of these you don't really care about. I mean, there are going to be other spells you draw that you like better, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think this pays off quite enough. I think a lot of spells are bad here. So I'd say Bottled Terror is like 1 star. Treasure from Below is like 4 stars. I think it'd be 5 stars if it had more health. And Pirate's Mark is like 2 stars. So I think Treasure from Below is definitely the most intriguing option there to pick. Yo, what's shaking, Casual Felon? We're doing a little bit of a Rumble Run Shrine review. I accidentally hit the wrong button there. Just talking through each of the Rumble Run Shrine options. So up next we have Krogwa's Lure. Each of these are frogs, which I think is super funny. The rest have had like kind of differing themes, you know. Each one's had like, you know, different sort of stuff. But these are all 3 just frogs. Krogwa's Lure. After your overload, give your minions that much attack. So that one's going to have a lot of fast start overload synergy. I think a lot of the problem with these aggro is I just think they're going to peter out and your boss opponent is going to have some kind of removal to just destroy your deck or destroy your board, and then you're going to run out of cards and gas, and it's just not going to be good enough. Then tribute it from the tides. Your battle cries trigger 2 additional times. Wow. That's actually pretty crazy. Wind Speaker is useless with that, though. Giving things Wind Fury multiple times is useless. I mean, actually, the battle cries chosen here aren't that strong, but there certainly are others if you draft well in your Rumble Run. This seems like it could have a lot of power output. Just doing a ton of damage, swinging board super hard, creating lots of value. And then finally, Krogwa's Grace. Your spells cost 2 less. I accidentally clicked the card. Whoopsie daisy. The deck here for Krogwa's Grace does have some spells, certainly. The question is, do the spells offer it enough value, and is that discount significant enough, you know? It can be, but you do need minions to win, so I'm worried this is a little bit too all-in on spells. So my first instinct is Krogwa's Lure is like a 1-star card. Tribute from the Tides is 4 stars, and Krogwa's Grace is probably a 2-star card. I think it doesn't go quite far enough on the discount side of things. It's not universal enough. So moving on to Warlock, we have Blood Pact. 10 health shrine. Wow. Your spells cost health instead of mana. Man. You're going to need spells to really make that worth it. So things that really swarm a board or make big minions out of it. Things that turn your spells into repeatable long-term value, which you can certainly draft. There are those things out there. That's intriguing, but you're just going to die so fast. I think the risk-reward balance here leans far too much in the favor of risk instead of reward. So I think Blood Pact is way too risky. Then you got the Dark Reliquary. 4 health. Whenever you discard a card, summon a random demon. Man, random demons are pretty good on average. There aren't that many bad demons, and there are some great ones. So yeah, discarding here seems pretty strong. I think I like Dark Reliquary quite a bit. You're just occasionally going to get Mal'Ganis and stuff. That'll win you free battles against bosses. That seems really good. And then finally, Hyreek's Hunger, which looks awesome, by the way. That's really cool art. It's 8 health. Whenever your hero takes damage on your turn, the enemy hero takes it instead. Oh boy. Is there any way to abuse that? Like for a crazy turn? I don't know. I feel like it's not going to get there. I feel like you're going to damage yourself a lot, but it's just not quite going to get there. I feel like you're going to do 20 or 30 damage to the opposing thing, and then the boss is still going to have 30 health left. And you're just going to be like, ugh, I didn't get there. So I don't think Hyreek's Hunger is good enough. I don't think it's good enough. Plus, it's going to really restrict the kinds of cards that you can have. The Rumble Run drops Thursday. Yes, it is basically another dungeon run, just has different stuff. In particular, you have these things, which are shrines, which start on the battlefield immediately when you start the game. So they give you this sort of passive long-term thing you're kind of supporting. So to me, Blood Pact is like, I don't know, I guess 2 stars. Reliquary is like 4 stars. Hyreek's Hunger, I think, is like 1 star. because I don't really think it contributes to the board or winning the board. It's more sneaky, and I think sneakiness is going to fail. So moving on to Akali and the Warrior Shrines, the final shrines here. We have Akali's Champion. This minion's attack is always equal to your armor. Yeah, it's nice to get a minion that's like that, but this is the same as the sort of druid one we saw earlier, Bonds of Balance. I think, unfortunately, this is investing too much into one thing, and it's not really going to be enough to probably win you the game, because it's going to be tough to get this up to a high attack value, right? Like, there are obviously some armor cards here that can get you armor fairly early, but by the time it matters, I don't think this is going to go far enough. So I think this is pretty weak looking. And then Akali's War Drum. After you summon a dragon, reduce the cost of dragons in your hand by 1. Intriguing discount, a little bit conditional, but you can get some really big tempo swings in the mid game probably from a card like that. And it does have 8 health, which makes it very sticky. So I don't hate that. I think that's kind of cool. Building a really big board. The question is, can you support the card advantage loss with value? And with things like Dragon Roar, I suspect you can. So yeah, I think that'll work nicely. And then Akali's Horn. Your minions have overkill. This can attack again. Huh? Intriguing. So you take a trade and then you hit the face really hard. You take 2 trades. I think one problem with this is you do need to be ahead for it to work really nicely, and getting ahead might be a bit of a problem. So I think that's going to be a bit of a choke on this one. Like, when it works, it'll work well, but I think it won't work well all the time. So I'd say Champions 2 stars. War Drum is probably 3 or 4 stars. Let's say 4 stars, because I do think Dragon Roar can support it nicely. And then Akali's Horn is a 2-star shrine. So I think pretty much for every class there, I had a shrine that stood out as my favorite. Although I do think Gonk's Armament seems like the strongest of all of them, if you ask me. I think their mana refresh just seems nuts. So I would say take the ones I recommended the first time around you do a class, learn, then experiment, right? Because really you're going to end up playing all of them because it's fun. You don't always have to play the best one necessarily. But you'll learn and you'll see. And once we have some actual gameplay experience and so on and so forth, I think we'll know a little more. Do the comments here in Hearthstone offer anything new or interesting to the Druid ones are the best. I kind of agree. Particularly the first Druid one. So anyway, that was fun. I liked those.